It's just
Yeah, me and you have had a bunch of
yeah,
conversations on the phone, bro. So you know me.
right.
You know there's a bunch of stuff that I've said about certain groups of people, but that that could get me in trouble. But again, we all have said things that aren't the most savory things. So again, I understand it, but again, for him, he was a public figure, so it's going to be treated differently.
That's
You know what I'm
fair.
saying?
I get it.
He's a public figure that millions of people looked up to, that we all grew up watching perform. It's just different in that regard, but at the same time, again, he's a human being, and he was going through a lot of weird, goofy stuff back in those times.
Yeah,
In his personal life, he was going through a
right.
lot of stuff,
Yeah,
and that stuff makes you say dumb shit. And when
right,
you drink all that stuff makes you say dumb shit. It's not
right.
an excuse; it's just a reality. So again, I'm not sitting here making excuses for Hulk Hogan at
No,
all.
no, it's not an
Not
excuse.
making
It's not an
excuses.
excuse. What
He
he said was disgraceful. What he said on that recording, like it's
yes.
blatantly racist. He's saying the N word, er. Like there's ain't nothing, ain't no way to twist what he said. What he said is what he said. So I'm not capping for him. Like nah, not at all. I'm just saying that like people who are out here celebrating a man's death should seriously be ashamed of themselves, bro. We got to really like look at ourselves as a people and try to figure out why are we the ones doing this? Like why is it us doing this? Like it's the shit is not funny. Like what are
Mhm.
we doing right now? Like
Exactly.
we gotta look at ourselves as people trying to figure out what's going on, bro. Like it's insanity how we're acting, man. And when Hogan passed, we seen people do this. When Rush Limbaugh passed, seen people do this. What's the dude? Kevin Samuels, when he passed, people were celebrating. Like, what are we celebrating right now? What are we celebrating now? Are there exceptions? Sure. Like when Osama bin Laden got clipped. I mean,
Yeah, Hitler and them
hey,
niggas. Yeah, yeah,
hey,
yeah,
for so
yeah,
something
yeah.
like that, yeah. I mean, whatevs. But come on, bro. Like it's just ridiculous. It's too far.
We're
We
not
should
talking
be
about
ashamed.
mass murderers here, bro.
Like,
We're
come
not
on, man.
talking about we're not talking about mass murderers here. These are just guys these are guys who've said dumb shit in their life.
Right.
Again, we've all said dumb shit in our life. So I'm not, we're not treating these people like Bin Laden
Like, come on.
and Hitler. Come on, man.
Come on,
You
man.
know,
It's just
and I feel like we're all supposed to stand up. We're supposed to fight. But once that person dies, bro, the fight stops right there, bro. Like I can hate you all day, you can hate me all day. When you pass away, let them have it. Like let them have it. Look, I would love like if we was just talking about racism and how I feel towards racist people, I would have a bunch to say. Okay, but this individual has passed away. It's like just let him rest in peace. Like Reggie said, like let him rest. Like I don't talk about the dead like that. I don't even like talking about the dead in a good way. I just like the dead to rest. You know what I'm saying? Period. Like I love Big, I love Pop, but I hate talking about the Big and Pac situation. You
Right.
understand? Like
Yeah.
let them rest. You know what I'm saying? If you at this point in time, if you're not putting flowers on it, then you can let it go now because you no longer have to deal with this person. You no longer have to
right.
deal with that bigotry, that racism. You don't. There's no longer a reason to fight this person again. He's already gone. Like what can Hulk Hogan say to me today? Nothing.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So in that, let him rest. Especially, we can say what we want about him being racist or whatever, but that man laid the foundation for what wrestling is today.
Yeah.
Moving forward. Like you say, yo, not too many niggas was that big of a heel and that big of a face. And he could switch it up anytime he felt like it. Depending on his colors. If he came out in yellow and red, he was a baby face. If he came out in black and white, he was a heel. It depended on his outfit for real, man. I was disappointed to find out what happened, but like I said, he's gone, man.
No, I agree.
Let's just give him his respect for what he meant to wrestling, and let's just let's leave it there. Now, if you want to talk about that, you're entitled. You could be your own woman. You could be your own man. You're entitled. But if we want to show any type of respect, if you feel that this man deserved any type of respect, let him rest in peace, man. Very
Yeah.
disappointed in who he was. You know, we're not trying to give him a pass. No filler, no fluff. We keeps it a buck. We're not giving no passes over here. What we're saying is, like, how far are you going to take this beyond his grave? Now, if he was alive and we was having a conversation about Hulk Hogan and he was walking around today, I would be a totally different person. I would probably be letting them have it right now. But like you say, yo, once they pass on, bro, let them rest, man. Let them rest.
Yeah. And I want to get to the part of this where we start giving his flowers for sure. But anything you want to add, Stan, before we get to that part?
No, man. Again, we've it's like I said, it's a tough thing because again, you don't want to be that person and being insensitive to someone's passing because again, there are people out here that love this man, you
Mm-hmm.
know, who family, friends, things like people close to him. Again, the WWE is what it is today because of
Because of
Vince and Hulk taking a regional New York based wrestling promotion and making it national. And wrestling became what it became because of Vince and Hulk Hogan.
Hey, hold on,
So,
Stan.
and again,
Hey,
I love.
hey, Stan, you got some clicking in the background, man.
Okay, that's just my daughter.
Okay.
Um, it's tough because again he's why wrestling is where it is now. He's why it's so big. It's why it's a it was at one point a it was something that was some it was a form of entertainment that was considered for trailer park trash. It was low rent, low IQ, lowest common denominator type of entertainment, kind of what the UFC is now, and it they took it to a national, worldwide form of entertainment. And Hulk's responsible largely for that. Not the only one, of course, but he's largely responsible. And I just think that now, yeah, time is just kind of like let's look back on his career and the shit that we remember as the thing we remember him doing. Because again, we know about that the stuff, the racist shit, the other stuff we know, and we know how it's just. I wish that more people was more sophisticated enough to have that conversation instead of just being fuck Hulk Hogan. He fucking racist. He said he's gonna body slam Kamala.
I forgot about that.
Oh, I didn't forget about that.
Forgot about that one.
He,
Damn,
he
bro.
got he got sauced up on stage and started talking about body slamming Kamala
Yeah,
Harris.
yeah.
And you remember the shit that I said. I said, why is Hogan not in handcuffs?
All
You
right.
know, it's just.
It's flowers time. It's flowers time. It's flowers time. Um, look, man. I think one of the things that I think both of y'all said is the fact that he probably is the GOAT two-way wrestler, just in terms of heel face. Like, who else played a heel and a face at an S tier level? Because he's a S tier face and he's an S tier heel. Like, is anybody else we can think that was that?
And the only person I can remotely, only two people I think remotely close to that would be Taker and Shawn Michaels. Taker was a massive heel and a massive face, but it still ain't where Hawk was. You know what I'm saying? Like those are the only two people I think of that's remotely close to the Undertaker being a face and a heel simultaneously. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe Ric
But
Flair.
I,
Maybe Ric Flair, because Ric Flair was a monster face in WCW, like in the
but no, but Ric
he's more
Flair,
of a heel. Yeah,
he did his best work as a heel.
yeah,
He was never a heel by what he did in the ring. I mean, he was never a baby face for what he did in the ring. He was
yeah,
always a cheater. He was
yeah,
always dirty. They just liked him because he wore those robes and he talked that
yeah,
shit. But he was always a heel though. He
yeah.
was always dirty. I can't
Flair
think of
was
one.
one of
What
those.
John Cena is doing right now was kind of close, turning
Mm-mm.
heel now,
No,
but
no, it's not.
Nah,
No, it's
John
not.
Cena ain't got enough
This,
years. Hulk
nah.
Hogan
no,
was a heel for about 10 years.
The Cena heel run is a disaster, and I hope they rectify that at SummerSlam. But uh, Flair probably is the only one that comes close because Flair became so entertaining in the '80s as a heel, and the shit talking that he did. Again, wrestlers didn't do that stuff. Heels didn't talk like that. Flair was shit talking. He was talking about all the stuff that he had, and the Rolex watches, and the Gator shoes, and the sweaters, and all this shit. And that was the that wasn't done at that time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he was doing it, and he was living it.
Yeah.
So that made him cool to people. And again, at some point, Flair just became one of those guys where he's Ric Flair, and he's one of the few guys. But yeah, you're right. There's not too many guys that have been at the top of their profession in both on both sides of the spectrum in wrestling than Hogan was. Hogan saved WCW. And again,
Yep.
if you remember when Hogan went to WCW, the initial Hogan run in WCW was an absolute disaster. It was an absolute disaster.
I disagree with that.
The initial run. I mean, yeah, they did the big show with Flair for Bash in the Beach,
Yeah,
where
that's
they
what I'm saying. I
had
disagree with that.
Shaq. But after that, it was a disaster.
Nah,
You don't
bro, it
remember? You
wasn't.
don't remember? You don't remember the Hogan, the cage, the Tower of Doom cage with Hulk and
No, my
Macho Man
goodness.
beat like 20 guys. It's one of the worst matches in the history of professional wrestling. It's
But
absolutely
no, that
abysmal.
he had some good
That Dungeon
matches
of Doom
though.
shit.
No, that he had some good match when he first came to WWE. You ever seen it was because Hogan doesn't like if we're being real, he's not the greatest wrestler. So counting like
He,
great
he, he
Hogan
doesn't.
matches,
He doesn't. He doesn't.
it's not a
He's more of a showman than he is an
yeah.
athlete.
But
Yeah.
he has
Yeah.
a couple good ones. Like he had a match with Ric Flair on Clash of the Champions that was dope. He had a match with Van Vader, Big Van Vader. It was at uh Bash of the Beat. I think it was like it was a cage match. That was a good ass match. He had some solid matches in his early part of WCW. Like and he was still super popular. If you go look up some of them old matches, like 95, like before he turned heel, 95, 96 in WCW, the crowd is still all in. Like he's still, it ain't the level of Hulkamania that it was, in the early 90s, but they was still all in, bro. They was still pretty much in.
Oh, but
And
that's not fair, Reg, because you could say the same thing when he was black and white. They were still loving him.
I don't know, bro.
They were still loving
The
him, bro.
I will at the NWO definitely was the one of
Everybody
those.
liked the NWO, bro, even though they was heels.
It depend on the town, bro. There was some towns, man. The NWO got booed out the building, bro. And Hogan, they used to throw Coke bottles at this man, man,
Yeah,
and trash.
they used to give it the D. They used
Hogan
to,
was
yeah.
hated,
But
bro.
that was more like Scott Hall. A lot of people just hated Scott Hall, yo. Scott
They
Hall
hated
was one of the, I
Hogan,
don't
bro.
know why he was one of the most hated people in wrestling history. I don't know why.
Yeah, they was hated, bro. I mean, I think I definitely was an NWO fan for sure. Like they was probably one of the first like bad guys that I started to kind of root for. They were so cool. They were like the cool bad guys for sure. So, yeah, no doubt. But I'm just them early. Hogan was still popping, bro. Like it wasn't what it
Yeah,
was, but go look at them crowds. Hogan was still hot. Remember they had the parade when he first signed with WCW. The man shit
Yeah,
like a championship parade.
it was at first a shot to the company because
Yeah.
WCW was at that time very regional, very
Mhm.
yep,
southern wrestling, and it was again Hogan going there made it mainstream
yep,
and made it okay. There's more than one wrestling promotion out there because again the WWF in the '90s was like the Coca-Cola
Yeah.
and the Kleenex. It was that was the default brand of wrestling. And anybody talk about
yep,
wrestling is the WWF stuff, the WWF stuff,
Yeah. Yeah. That's what it
and
is
yeah,
now too. Yeah.
it's kind of what it is now, but
Yeah.
that's what it was. And they like, well, WCW stepped in, and it was all out because of Hogan keep coming in, and then Hogan turning heel at the time was unthinkable because again, it was one of those things that Vince never did. Vince thought about doing, but he never pulled the trigger on it. He never pulled the trigger on actually just turning him heel at a time when the WWF audiences started to wane on him. Because again, at some point, you're going to get tired of something. And I think if you go back and watch some of the WWF shows back then, there were some mixed reactions for Hogan around that time towards the end.
yeah, it
You know
was.
what I'm saying?
It was.
There was mixed reactions for him towards the end because I think the audience was starting to get tired of him, and it happens. So WCW audiences got tired of him because they looked at him and he's not a WCW guy. He's a New York guy, and Again, the fan base was very regional back then,
Yeah.
and Hulk, them turning him heel, making him the third man it was genius.
It was the
It wouldn't
best
have
thing they
worked
could have did. It was
Yeah.
yeah,
the
it
best
wouldn't
thing
have
they could have
worked
did.
if it was Sting, it wouldn't have worked. If it was Luger, it wouldn't have worked. If it was Brett, it wouldn't have worked. Because those were the good names that were thrown around back then. In fact, it was going to be Sting.
Yeah, I heard
That
that. I
was the
heard Eric
rumor that
Bischoff
it
said this,
was
he had to convince Sting to do it, and Sting said he was going to do it. And then Holt and Eric Bischoff said he didn't tell anybody who the third man was going to be because he wanted to make sure it stayed a shock. And he could finally convince Sting to do it. And then Hogan hit him up and was like, "Yo, like who's the third man?" And Eric Bischoff was like, because he didn't want to tell him, so he was like, "Well, who do you think it should be?" And he was like, "You looking at him, brother?" Like, oh, like that had to be an epic moment right there. Like for Hogan, it's like, "Nah, it's me," So
because when he first proposed it, I don't think Hulk was thinking it, was feeling it. But
right,
again, you think about it, you think about this can work,
yeah,
and it can work if we do it this way. And the
yeah,
way it was done was perfect. It is still one of the greatest moments in wrestling history when
without
he does the
question,
turn. And the announcer's shock and horror and all
yeah,
that stuff is still
yeah,
it's iconic. I watched the clip the other day, and I watch it every year on the anniversary of it. It's still one of the greatest moments in wrestling history.
without question, without
Yeah.
question.
So the shit they tried to do with John Cena does not compute to that.
Yo,
And that
Hogan gave me my first conflicted moment as a wrestling fan, bro. I was little. This was Royal Rumble. I don't know, maybe like '94. What year did Ric Flair win that thing? He came in like number 2 or 3 and won the Rumble.
92,
92?
92.
Okay. 92
Yeah.
Royal Rumble. I was little and I was so conflicted because like I'm all Hogan. I'm like Hogan, Hogan. And Hogan got thrown out the match by Sid Justice. And I'm like, no, no. But Sid was like my other favorite wrestler. I love Sid. Like, all right, Sid gonna get Ric Flair out of there. Could get Ric Flair's ass up out of there. I hated Ric Flair. And then Hogan grabbed Sid. Y'all remember this? Hogan grabbed
Yes, I
Sid
do know what
Mhm.
you're talking about.
hand and pulled him over the top rope. I'm like, what are you
What are you
doing? Like,
doing? Yeah,
doing?
yeah, yeah.
That shit
I
was
He did
remember
all
those
kind. He
moments,
always
bro.
did heelish shit. He always did heelish shit. To be honest with you, he always
And
did. He
see,
always did heelish shit.
that's why to this day I'm kind of mad at Goldberg because we almost got Hogan versus Brett in WCW. We almost got that Bret Hart versus Hogan.
that's crazy. We never got that, yo. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yo, Goldberg wrote fucked that up for us,
Yeah, he
yo.
did.
You know what I mean?
He did.
But yeah, man, it's I mean, just the nostalgia of Hulk Hogan, bro. Like then he came back to WWE with the NWO. He
Yep.
fought The Rock. You know what I mean?
Yo, we got to talk about that match, yo.
Yo, it's
Yeah.
so much, bro. It is so much that Hogan did, bro. Like that we do not that like we forget. You know what I'm saying? Like the match with the Hawk. He had the match with he had a good match with Randy Orton.
Yeah.
When
Yep.
Randy Orton was on his legend killing shit.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
bro, yo, Hogan, like
That Shawn
Hogan
Michaels
was
match.
the man, yo. He was the man, bro. And that when it comes to that
Remember
wrestling shit, he was the man, dog.
He was.
we remember we watched the Shawn Michaels match a few weeks ago,
And
right?
me and you were just watching that match. Yep.
Oh
We
shit,
watched
I
The
forgot
Shawn
about that
Michaels
one.
the Shawn Michaels SummerSlam match
Yeah.
we watched a few weeks ago, and again he was an iconic name, bigger than wrestling. He became bigger than wrestling, bigger than the business. He was iconic, an iconic name, an iconic character. The music, the colors, it's just yeah, it was just one. He's one of. I mean, if you ever again, I despise the Mount Rushmore discussions and shit. I think that's just played out as the goat stuff. But if you're gonna have a Mount Rushmore, I don't know how you can have one for wrestling without Hogan's picture.
Without Hulk Hogan,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Regardless, I don't know how you do that without Hogan because all the other guys that came along wouldn't have been in that position if it wasn't for him.
Like I say, bro, he is Dr. J. He is Muhammad Ali. You know what I'm saying? He is the prototype. He is the guy that started it all, bro. You know what I'm saying? He is Rakim. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
so many people branched off of what he did and was able to become who they are because of him. Even if you're not, even if you're not trying to be Hulk Hogan, the wrestler, you're still walking through the doors he opened. You understand? This man was doing movies, all type of stuff, bro. He is the first transcendent wrestler. Um,
Hmm.
so if there's anybody that transcended wrestling, we see Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, in movies
Mhm.
now. That's
Yep.
because Stone Cold
Yep.
did movies and all. That's all because of that man. You understand? So just give that man his credit. Give us respect for opening up the doors for a genre. And if we're gonna have discussions about his character, I probably will agree with everything you say, but I'm not going to partake in it myself. You
Right.
understand? I probably know that
That's how I feel,
everything,
bro.
yeah, everything that you might say about Hulk Hogan, it might be facts, and I'm not going to argue that for you, but I'm not going to dump on this man's legacy because of what the doors. There are black wrestlers that are walking through those doors. Like The Rock is black, bro. The Rock is the most transcendent wrestler of all time. And he ain't do nothing but walk through the doors that Hulk Hogan opened up. So
Hmm.
you know what I mean? So shout out to Hulk Hogan for opening up the doors.
Without question, man. Without question. Um, so that last thing I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna give Stan the last word is, look, man. If we're having a conversation about who's the best in ring wrestler as far as having great matches, I mean Hogan's not even going to be in that top 20. You know, he's not. He's not
Yeah,
in
he
that
probably will.
conversation. But when you talk about icons, we talk about someone who put food on a table that wrestlers are still eating off right now today. It's
Yep.
Hulk Hogan, man. Hulk Hogan is that guy in the respect of impact. Hulk Hogan is the GOAT. Hulk Hogan is the greatest of all time in terms of impact on the business. And
Yeah.
you know what? And look, man, we all know that the wrestling business was different back then. These guys gave their bodies, they gave their health to it, um, and all of that. Hogan gave me so many memories coming up, a lot of memories that I'll never forget. So, you know what, man? I'm not ashamed to say it, man. Rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. The memories were amazing. You were a flawed human being, just like all of us are. And I'm just gonna leave it at that. And Stan, I'm actually gonna give you the last word.
I mean, it's all you said it well right there. Just there wouldn't be a wrestling business without Hulk Hogan. Like the WWE being on Netflix and being on USA and being on Fox and having these deals and guys appearing everywhere would not have happened without Hulk Hogan, and not just Hulk Hogan, the Macho Man Randy Savage
Of
and
course.
others talents that have come along. But Hogan was the catalyst for all of this. He was the catalyst when they put him over in the Garden over the Iron Sheik and gave him the title. He was the catalyst when they had him body slam Andre the Giant and beat him in WrestleMania 3. Uh, that that show had 90,000 or whatever how many people were there. I mean, who knows? It's been disputed, but 80,000 plus people came to see that match, to see Hogan body slam the Giant. He made the WWE a global promotion, a global entertainment outfit that it is today. The guys working today that go out there, and again, it's a different business now. It's not larger than life characters now. It's not over the top physiques. It's athleticism. It's charisma. It's more of that now. The guys now don't look like the guys did. The guys now look like athletes, not Greek gods, not superheroes, not like that. But
It's
it's
a
a different
couple of them, but
business.
for the most part, they all look like
Most
athletes.
yeah, most of the guys they look like athletes, just athletes, not Greek gods, not superheroes, not these hulking, you know, figures. It's a different business now, but it wouldn't be what it is today without Hulk being the catalyst of the '80s and the rock and wrestling era. And shout out to Roddy Piper for being, his his counterpart as a heel, the greatest heel in the history of wrestling. Um, Shout out to
Mm.
the Macho Man Randy Savage. Shout out to Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig, the
Yo,
Big Boss Man.
shout out to Bobby Heenan, bro. Like you talk about his actual nemesis. Bobby Heenan had smoke with Hogan from the beginning, bro. So shout out to
Yeah,
Bobby the
Mhm.
Brain.
yeah. Bobby Ray, he the best
Yeah.
manager in wrestling history. All these talented people helped and gave Hogan gave Hogan the adversaries. So as important as Hulk was as a babyface and as a top star, you do have to also acknowledge the adversaries that he had, the people that he worked with, the people that made him that top babyface. Because he
Shout
had
out to me,
babyfaces
James Oakland,
yeah, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, all these
Absolutely.
Jimmy
people.
Hart.
I mean,
Jimmy
Yeah.
Hart,
yeah,
remember the speaker, the
Yeah.
dude with the
Yeah.
bullhorn?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
bro. He was slick.
Jimmy was actually his real life manager. So like even to the end, Jimmy was with Hulk. His
Wow.
manager. He was, I know Jimmy was. I think he did appear on SmackDown yesterday. Very emotional. Obviously, I haven't watched the show though. I'm gonna watch it as soon as I get off of here. But yeah, I just think that at the end of the day, if you're a fan of this particular form of entertainment, you cannot ignore the contributions of Hulk Hogan.
Facts.
And even if you don't like the man, even if you think he was a piece of shit, which he was, the reality is that's what he was. He's a piece of shit. He's a racist piece of shit. But you can say that and also say, and you know what? He's the reason why I'm a fan of this business. He's the reason why I love this business and why to this day I still watch professional wrestling. And I'm sure some
Facts.
people say, y'all grown ass me watching like fuck you, first of all. If that's the shit that's the shit I'm gonna end on this one. Like if y'all niggas out here watching Marvel movies and watching all this shit on TV, you know that shit ain't real, right? You know the wire ain't real, right? Breaking Bad ain't real, right? You know all that shit's fucking fiction, right? So is pro
Yeah.
wrestling is the same thing. So for y'all to sit here and say, I'll watch that fiction, fuck you.
Hey, yo,
Fuck you.
niggas that shit on wrestling and sit down and watch Real Housewives of Atlanta with his woman.
Yeah, like fuck you.
You know what
Fuck you
I'm
for
saying?
that shit. Wrestling is the same shit as the same thing as movies, entertainment, TV. It's all entertainment. That's all it
Mm-hmm.
is. Ain't no one sitting there saying it's real and it's entertainment. So if you want to dump on grown men for liking pro wrestling, go fuck yourself. And I'm leaving it at
I think that's a great place to leave it. So we'll go ahead and leave it there. Hopefully we can do more wrestling content. So if you want to see
that. I
more
love
of
to.
it, yeah,
Love it.
for
Yeah,
sure.
I would
Let's
love
do
to
it.
too.
All right, let's leave it there, fellas. Appreciate y'all for coming through. Till next time.
All right, bro.
Peace.
Thanks.